he can see Tom going on to dominate the heavyweight division for years to come, go down as the greatest MMA fighter of all time. Do you see him capable of achieving that?
But when you start talking, he won this fight tonight, he could be the greatest of all time. Again, you know how I feel about Jon Jones, even being within Jon Jones' universe, in my opinion. Jon Jones versus the heavyweight fight will happen. Just relax. I'll announce that soon.
There's no way on earth that he's going to fight me. Not a chance. I will retire Jon Jones without even fighting him.
What is up, fight fans? And welcome back to the channel. Today, we're diving deep into one of the hottest topics in MMA, the brewing storm between interim heavyweight champ Tom Aspinall and the legendary Jon Jones. Dana White has weighed in, and his comments are stirring the pot even more. The whole concept of pound-for-pound rankings itself has been dismissed by some, including Aspinall, who finds the idea nonsensical. He elaborated on this with quite the analogy.
The pound-for-pound debate rages on. Dana White, whenever he gets a chance, he'll tell you Jon Jones is the man. Other people say he's not active enough, and you're in a position to comment on that. What do you think?
What is this pound-for-pound bull? It's a load of rubbish. It's like saying, it just doesn't even make sense. Like, don't get me started on that. It's just like, how can you have a pound-for-pound? What does that mean if everyone's the same size? So how can you compare Demetrius Johnson's style to Brock Lesnar's style and say if they're the same? Like, they've got completely different attributes. It's like, I've got a bulldog, right? It's like saying, right, if my bulldog had a really long neck, it would win a giraffe or the bulldog. Like, it's absolute bullshit. How can you even compare it? It's a lot of rubbish.
Tom Aspinall hasn't been shy about calling out Jon Jones, and it seems Jones is starting to pay more attention to these call-outs. Aspinall has expressed his desire to be tested in deep waters.
Somebody drag me into deep water. I'm telling you, I want to feel what it's like. I want to see if I can swim or not. Jon Jones, if you can drag me there, take me there. Because right now, all these guys are saying it, but no one can do it.
He's also voiced his frustration about the inactivity and uncertainty surrounding his next fight, particularly a potential matchup with Jones. Aspinall highlighted the mental challenges of this waiting game.
This is the only sport in the world you can have somebody hold your career back.
Yep. I've been almost a year inactive with no prospects of anything. Just be ready, and we'll just let you know.
Yeah.
And then it's kind of difficult, like, mentally to...
Oh, yeah.
This is the fight against Jon Jones, like, not... The fight is another thing.
Yeah.
This is the tricky bit where I really have to stay switched on, stay motivated, and I'm trying my best. I'm trying. It's tough. As you said a minute ago, no one really knows what's going on behind the scenes apart from me.
Exactly. You're in office cooking.
I train all the time anyway. Just because I've not got a fight doesn't mean I don't train. Like,
Despite these frustrations, he understands Jones's position to some extent, but his primary focus remains on the title.
yeah. I honestly can see Jon's point of view. I get it.
Yep.
I get it. It's just about the title for me.
Yep.
I just want the title, that's it.
Yep.
Does nothing else really matters, so...
You're like, let me do my thing, let me fight.
I just want to fight.
And I think that's the respectful way to go about it. It's like, you don't care if it's Jon, and it's no disrespect to Jon, it's no disrespect to anybody out there, you're just trying to fight. Yep. I just want to fight.
Yep.
When directly asked about how he matches up against Jon Jones, Aspinall acknowledged Jones's elite status, but pointed to a significant factor he believes disqualifies Jones from the greatest of all time conversation: Jones's past drug test failures. Aspinall stated his view clearly.
What do you think you have where you're better than him?
Well, Jon, let me first start by saying Jon is absolutely elite, and I completely agree with the notion that he's one of the best fighters ever.
Is he the greatest?
Potentially, but the way that I look at it is he has failed a couple of drug tests. To me, that rules you out of being the best of all time.
Really?
For me personally, yeah, I think.
Does it make him a cheat?
Yeah, of course it does. Yeah. If you're on steroids or whatever, I don't think he was on steroids, but he was on PEDs, performance enhancing drugs. If you're on PEDs and your opponent isn't, that's absolutely cheating in my book, unless you're both.
The situation has led to questions about how long Aspinall, as the interim champion, should have to wait for Jon Jones. There's a growing sentiment that Jones is holding up the division. Chael highlighted the predicament Aspinall is in.
How long does Tom sit and wait? How many times do you get to tell Tom, who's a prospect, who has a shelf life of about 10 years, and who, by the way, has a belt that says he's the champion? How long do you tell him the only time he gets to seek gainful employment is when Jon Jones decides he's ready to let Tom go to work? Like, even if Aspinall says, I'm ready to move on, I'm ready to move into surreal, I guess, can't I have surreal and we book Jon? See where the longevity that is Tom waiting on Jon, do you see where that starts to grow? And when there's less and less manipulation that can be done to make it change.
This feud has indeed captured the MMA world's attention, with opinions divided. Some see Jones as strategically managing his career, while others argue he's holding up the heavyweight division. The fact that Aspinall has been interim champ for a significant portion of Jones's reign is a point of contention.
He's holding up the division, okay? Tom Aspinall, the interim champion, has been the interim champ for 70% of Jon Jones's reign. They need to fight one another. And what the F is going on? Why isn't this fight scheduled? And now, of course, we've seen all this stuff coming out about Jon Jones. He's not sure. He's tweeting. He might be retired. He might not be retired. He's living his best life. I mean, that's all well and good. Of course, he's living his best life. He's had a tremendously successful life. He's one of the greatest fighters the world's ever seen, okay? And with that, he's made a tremendous amount of money. Of course, you're living a good life. But as the heavyweight champion of the world, you have a debt, you have an obligation to the fighters, to the fans, to the rest of the division, to your bloody self to prove that you are the undisputed champion of the world. He's not the undisputed champ because there's an interim champion. And I'm not saying this as someone trying to shit on Jon Jones. No. This is just the situation. Now, first of all, talking about living his best life. You've probably seen this right now. He's out in Thailand. He's driving around. He's on the back of someone's motorbike. He's having a good smell of somebody's hair. He's with some Russian dudes because Jon Jones and Nate Diaz are filming some like Russian version of The Ultimate Fighter. Jake Shields was there. The guy that was riding the motorcycle comes in, kicks off to... He's still hammered from the night out. He doesn't look like he could fight his way out of a wet paper bag, but he's swinging punches and all this type of stuff. Nate Diaz gives him a slap. Jon Jones is laughing his head off.
Accusations of Jones ducking Aspinall are also prevalent, suggesting he's avoiding a dangerous challenger and robbing others of opportunities. The UFC is being urged to make a decision, and there's speculation about whether a fight at Madison Square Garden is already in the works. The delay is seen as detrimental to Aspinall, who is in his prime.
You are ducking. You're ducking the opportunity. You're taking that opportunity away from someone else. You are robbing someone else of the same opportunity and the same dream that you have already realized and lived. That is selfish. That's not how the game works. And so it's on the UFC to make the call. Make the call. And you know what? They may have already made the call. And it may be happening at MSG and we're all being, you know, we're all being taken for a ride here. But honestly, if that is the case, come out and say it. And please tell Tom Aspinall, for the love of God, because by the time that fight happens, if it does happen on that day, it's going to be a year. We're approaching a year since his last fight, and that fight lasted 60 seconds. It is a travesty. It is a crime what is happening to Tom Aspinall in the prime of his life, in the prime of his career. Give up the belt or fight. That's it. Defend or vacate. That's it. It's great. We're all happy for you. I love the fact that you turned your life around. Truly. Trust me, I was there. We did the walk and talk in Albuquerque. I covered it all. It actually warms my heart. But you got to keep the train rolling along.
The GOAT debate surrounding Jon Jones is, of course, central to this discussion. Supporters point to his dominant record across 2 divisions and his unbeaten streak, barring a controversial disqualification.
I go back and forth on what I think the greatest of all time means, but if you want to say like who dominated his division longer than anybody, who beat everybody that was ever any good in his division, and who never lost, that's Jon Jones. The only time you could say he had a controversial decision was the Dominic Reyes fight. That was Dominic Reyes was coming up, he was in his prime, it was a really good fight, a really close fight, but Jon won what I think was a split decision, and then he had a split decision with Thiago Santos. But the bottom line is Jon won all those fights. He wins the heavyweight title too. It's tough to argue he's not the greatest of all time.
However, Aspinall's camp and many fans argue that Jones's failed drug test cast a shadow over his GOAT status. Aspinall was asked directly if he thinks Jon Jones is scared to fight him.
Is Jon Jones scared to fight you?
Yes, absolutely. I mean, the thing with Jon is conning the public, man.
Whoa. And Logan Paul, it's his favorite fighter.
Yeah. Oh, is it really?
Well,
yeah. Listen.
I mean, he's definitely top 3. He's definitely top 3.
Absolutely. I'm not disputing that he's an amazing fighter. I think the fact that he didn't want to fight Ngannou for 3 years, and now he's not wanting to fight me for over a year, and he just, the way he manipulates the media and the public is super smart. I'm not taking anything away from him. But do I think he's scared to take the tough fights at this stage in his career? Absolutely.
Can you understand that?
Absolutely. Yeah, I can.
You can empathize with that?
I respect it. I respect it. But if you're going to ask me the straight up question, is Jon Jones afraid to fight me? The honest answer would be yes.
There's even a fan petition circulating demanding that Jon Jones be stripped of the title, a sentiment echoed by Aspinall's former opponent, Curtis Blades.
The people have spoken. They have started a petition, and it's on 17,000 votes. 17,000 people in the MMA community so far in a very short amount of time are all saying strip Jon Jones. And one of those people is Tom Aspinall's former opponent, Curtis Blades. He said, listen, without a doubt, they should be stripping Jon Jones. And everyone is starting to get a little bit tired of it. And now Jon Jones is even tweeting and alluding that maybe the fight's not even gonna go down. Let's just take a look at the Twitter feed of Jon Jones. He says, I've been out here in Thailand, I'm enjoying life, I'm stuffing my face every day, and I swear I'm losing weight. Yeah, because the food's not full of shit and chemicals. That's why. Someone says you should be stripped. He says stripped low. Do I come across as the type of person who cares about things like that? Well, if you don't care, do the right thing. Relinquish the belt.
Despite the UFC's relative quiet on the matter publicly, there are reports that a unification bout at Madison Square Garden in November is being targeted. This would be a massive event, which Dana White himself has acknowledged could be the biggest heavyweight fight in UFC history. Aspinall has been actively pursuing the fight and claims the holdup is on Jones's side, with the UFC apparently keen to make it happen.
I've been staying away from the media and talking about Jon Jones a lot because, in all honesty, I'm sick of talking about it myself. But there needs to be updates. Do you know what I mean? I see a lot of articles out there online saying a load of different things that's just not true. Do you know what I mean? It's just not true. Where we're at right now is I have spoke to the UFC on multiple occasions about this fight. I'm chasing it up. I want the fight. I've been on record and said that I want the fight. I've been on the phone with the UFC saying that I want the fight. When's it happening? I want the fight more than anyone. What is holding it up right now is his side. That's the truth of it. The UFC really want the fight to happen. They've told me that. This is, as I said, this is one of the biggest fights that can be made in MMA right now. And everybody knows that. Everybody knows it. It's just, does he want to put himself in a position where he's comfortable enough financially to take the risk that he's taking to fight me? And that is where we're at. Like, the UFC tell me, they assure me that they are doing everything they can to make this fight. So it's totally, as far as I'm aware, this is now totally down to Jon Jones and his team to work that out, because I'm in, the UFC are in. They assure me that they desperately want to make the fight. Every time I speak to them, they say we are working as hard as we can on the fight, and I'm literally just waiting for a date. I'm not bothered where it is. I'm not bothered who it's against, to be honest. It's not just the Jon Jones fight I'm looking for. I'm looking to fight, man. Like, I'm in shape. I've been working hard since way before Christmas. I've been in the gym twice a day. My diet's good. I've been sparring. I've got international training partners here. I am prepared to fight anybody.
So there you have it. A complex and highly charged situation in the UFC heavyweight division. Dana White seems to be managing expectations while also acknowledging the magnitude of a potential Jones versus Aspinall clash. Aspinall is fired up and ready. Jones is, well, being Jones, and the fans are desperate for clarity. Will we see this epic showdown at Madison Square Garden, or will the waiting game continue? The implications for both fighters' legacies are immense. What do you guys think? Is Jon Jones strategically waiting, or is he avoiding Aspinall? Who comes out on top if they do fight? Drop your predictions and thoughts in the comments below. I read every single one. Thanks for tuning in. Don't forget to like this video if you found it informative, subscribe to the channel for more deep dives into the world of MMA, and hit that notification bell so you're always in the loop. Until next time, keep it locked right here.